Cam Giles, welcome to Australian Musician.
Greg, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Last time we spoke on the phone was in regard to the In Excess tribute album that you did
Yeah.
last year. This time you're tackling Leonard Cohen.
Yep.
What is it about themed recordings that you like?
I know, yeah. It's a funny one, isn't it? Well, I got sort of approached during one of the In Excess gigs, the In Excess jazz gigs. This person approached me and said, listen, would you think about doing a Leonard Cohen show, because you've got a deep voice, you'd be great for it. And I said, oh, look, I'll maybe think about it. And I didn't really think about it for months, and then sort of got a bit of an email saying, look, have you thought about it? And I thought, no, but I'll give it a go. So I got a few songs up, and I thought, well, the only way, the only way to do these songs really is you start demoing them, and you go, okay, well, let's pick 3 of his tracks and let's put them together and see how they kind of see what it's like. And during that process, the lyrical content just hit me, and I couldn't get away from his lyrics. They were like the lyrics that I like to write. They were just so, I just felt so connected to the words, and I just loved his words. They were so revealing and cutting, but so nice, and
Had you been
everything there.
Had you been a fan before exploring?
No, I hadn't. I hadn't been. Obviously, I'd heard Hallelujah and Suzanne and Marianne and all that stuff. I mean, there's so many tracks of his that everyone knows. So yeah, but no, I wasn't a big fan. No, but after listening to it all and really sort of getting into the words and reading his books, and I've been listening to. There's a couple of his books that are on Audible, that shows him reciting them. So it's him doing the poetry and stuff, and it's really, really good. I really got into it, and I just loved the lyrical content, and I just thought I'd give it a go with the band and see how they'd sort of sound. And then I started changing the vibe of them, because his stuff's a bit more folky, and it's got a little bit of a country flavory, folky, ethnic-y kind of flavor to it. So I lost that a bit and made it sort of more Oz in a way, and it just sort of fitted really well, just kept going with it.
What's the starting point for the rearrangement of a song for you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say Manhattan. Let's take the first track. First we take Manhattan. What I do is I just record their track off YouTube, and I bring it in, and I have a look at the tempo. I check out where the chord changes are. I play some bass to it. I play a bit of guitar over it. I find out what the keys are, and stuff. And I just started basically plot it out like theirs. And then I just turn theirs off and just start making my own stuff. And I'll get the chords and put them on sequences or put them on anything I can to sort of give a bit of inspiration. But that's kind of where I start with it,
Yeah.
Just the keyboards and that. And I mean, I know instantly that I can sing that stuff. So I don't sort of bother about too much getting vocally into it. I just want to get the track up and get it really happening, and then I can feel that the vocal, it inspires me to sing over it.
Yeah. Hallelujah has been done 1,000 times by 1,000 people. Was it difficult coming up with an arrangement that was a little bit different?
Well, it's not that different, but it's tempo-wise, it's a bit different. And I mean, that's an amazing drum performance from Ryan Menendez on that track. He just nailed that. The band just sounded great on that track. And I know, yeah, Hallelujah. It's like, what do you do? I did 3 versions of it. I did like an a cappella one. We did a guitar one. I did a piano one. I thought, excuse me. I said, this is crazy. Let's just do it as we do it in a sort of a live situation. And let's just everyone just go for it. And I'll just mix it and change a few things and put a few sequences. I put a sort of a sequencey kind of start into it, so it's got like a long introduction and stuff. And I left I sort of had it as in the choruses there, it's more of a backing vocal chorus rather than the main singer singing it. So about that, really, that's about all I could do. And I just had the guys to just just do what they wanted to, do what they felt over it, really. I mean, the guitar's really good in that one too.
Yeah.
And the saxophone, I mean, I haven't heard many of those ones with sax. It's got a bit of sax in it, see? So that sort of brings a new flavour into it and stuff, you know?
Yeah. So how do you go about deciding what instrumentation to use? For example, you've got flute on First We Take Manhattan. What drew you to using flute in that track?
Well, Damon Grant, our fabulous sax player, man, he can play all that stuff. He's got a lovely old Selma, 69 Selma or 64 or something. But he's got one of those Ewees too. So he played the Ewee in the that sort of that melody line, which is kind of quite strange. And then we put a flute over it and some other things over it. And it just, well, because he could do it, I just thought, look, we'll just do it, you know, and I'll make it fit in the track, you know.
Yeah. And
it's got a lot of sequence stuff going in that Manhattan track, you know. I really sort of thumped it out, you know.
Yeah. And what's the significance of the title of the album, Darker?
Darker, yeah. Well, it's in the sense that, well, you know, his last album was You Want It Darker, and obviously I didn't want to call it that, but I wanted to reference that, and I didn't do that track on the album either because I didn't do I think one of the only tracks I did from his last album is Treaty, but we just thought we'd just sort of make it in certain areas. I think it is darker. So, yeah. And I like the word, and I like the way it looks as well. Yeah.
And why did you decide to finish the album with just his voice set to music?
Well, he's got that. He sort of says a few things there that are sort of so true in the sense that, you know, he says a song's got a tempo. It starts, you can't stop that. And I really like that, you know. Once something about a song, once it starts, you got to finish it, you know. I like things. I like what he says in those moments, you know.
Yeah. So in your exploration of Leonard for this album, was there anything surprising that you found out?
Just that he's such a good poet. Which everyone already knew, but I was too busy doing other stuff, I suppose, you know. But I just really like his words, and he's a very humbling, you know, reading all his words and getting into his lyrics and stuff is humbling in a way, you know. I feel very respectful to it. You know, I didn't want to stuff anything up, or I didn't want anyone to hear it and go, oh, well, you've ruined that track. I wanted the Leonard fans to be able to hear it and go, well, yeah, that's good. I mean, I know that's different and that's not what he did, but I like it, sort of thing.
Yeah. Tell me about the other musicians that you use.
Yes. On drums, I have Ryan Menendez, who played on the NXS album as well. And he's a fabulous, fabulous drummer. He's one of those drummers he's not just a timekeeper. Like he's a real musician who brings so much. He just brings so much interesting kind of flavor to everything, you know. And because I'm coming from the sequence world, and you know, locking everything up, and we'll do it with drum machine first, and we'll get someone to play on it, and blah blah blah. You know, I like things to be really tight. But his timing is unbelievable. He's extraordinary, and he plays, you know, he plays percussion and plays the little talk drum in Suzanne, you know, and he's got all these African drums and stuff. And his father was a musician as well. He has like 11 or 12 drum kits, and he teaches at the VCA, and he's an extraordinary. He's just a lovely person too, you know. Really nice guy, great drummer. Yeah.
And who you didn't play all the instruments? Some other musicians on there?
Yes, of course. I played the keyboards on this one, so I did all the keyboards. Sort of, it's like I'm a couple of hams, you know. I'm a bit clunky. I can edit it up. And we have Gavin Williams-Pierce play bass, who's an awesome bass player. He's fantastic, and he's got an old 63 Precision. It's just, and he put flat wounds on it. It just sounded terrific, you know. It just suited that music. He's an awesome player, and Damon Grant, who played the horns and did a lot of the flutes and all the woodwinds and all that sort of stuff, and Lance Sue, S-U-E, S-U-A-S-U-E, and he is a New Zealand guy, and he's been over here for a few years now, and I got in touch with him when we were sort of playing the NXS shows, and he's just been a great part of the unit ever since. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's got beautiful instruments, lovely Hagstrom and a beautiful Strat and a Mesa Boogie and beautiful valve amps. And he really knows what he's doing, a beautiful pedal board. And it's just one of those guitarists who's, you're always searching for people who are different, who have that creative edge. And that's what I like about working with musicians. If they've really, it doesn't matter what the music is, as long as they do that creative thing, they really think about it and just try and bring something to it, and that's so important, It's great. That's I love that.
Did you use real piano sounds or MIDI keyboard?
Yeah, some real piano, but mostly MIDI stuff, but real samples of MIDI stuff. So we use the Omnisphere stuff, Keyscape, Ivory, all that sort of stuff,
Yeah.
And Omnisphere, Keyscape, Ivory, all that stuff. Yeah, a bit of that, but not too much of it, We've got an old upright upstairs which you use, but it's just too out of tune. There's things you're too out of tune to use, I am going to be doing a project soon with, Steve Settergreen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to do because I did Steve's album back in 2012, The Points in Time, and he's going to do another thing, but and we're going to get a grand piano and just put it in the corner there, and we're going to mic it up and leave it all in here. It's quite small down here, but it's I've also got tie lines that go up into the old house. So we had the drums up in the house and the sax player in the bedroom and, all that sort of stuff. It's so we played it all at once, which is one of, apart from the NXS stuff, it's one of the only projects over the past sort of 5-6 years that I've done where everyone's played together, It's been it made a difference, really did.
Yeah.
Things down in one hit,
Last time I spoke to you, you were a Cubase guy. You're still using Cubase for your production?
I'm still using, yeah, I do. But I also have a big HDX Pro Tools rig too, which I use as well. But I mostly use Cubase. Yeah, I do. And I know people go, Cubase for music? And I say, well, whatever works for whatever, whatever you're used to. And honestly, if you want to sit around all day editing keystrokes on Pro Tools, then you can. But the key edit page in Pro Tools is really annoying, and the key edit page in Cubase is the king of edit pages. It's amazing, and it's quick and fast, and using the RME interface. I've got a big RME interface with a truckload of preamps and everything. You sort of just do all that stuff there anyway now, So it's not a great big inline console or anything like that. No. I wouldn't mind doing something like that, but it's the cost to benefit ratio and the time to do it, You can go to a studio and go and do it for a day, but I needed more time to do all this stuff, It was an intricate project to work together, and there were so many tracks, 16 tracks.
Last time we spoke, we were discussing a song called Nail It Down, a song you'd co-written with Michael Hutchins.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Any news on that ever being released?
No, it hasn't. And it's still possibly going to come out. I must mention too that it was written with myself and Kirk Godfrey, who we had a band at the time called Gank, and so yeah, it was myself, Kirk Godfrey, and Michael. Yeah, I haven't been in touch with those guys for so long, and it's difficult to get in touch with those people. They move in a completely different circle. They're probably flying around the world and doing whatever they do. I know that Andrew's just released an album, but I didn't have much to do with Andrew when we were doing it all. It was mostly just Michael and Johnny and Kurt, and I met Gary. I met Gary a couple of times, but didn't really have much to do with Gary either. We got to know Tim quite well. Went out to Timmy's house and did some programming and mucked around and stuff like that. Did some stuff with Johnny and all that. But yeah, no, that track hasn't come out, but we've done that jazz version of it, and it's a great version. I must put it out at some stage. Hopefully we'll get it out through Ambition and Sony and get it out at some stage,
Yeah. So with this album, Darker, the song's Leonard Cohen, normally I'd imagine you'd be out doing some gigs. What are the plans for the rest of 2020?
Yeah, well, we've done a bit of a pre-release, which was on the 21st September, which is Leonard's birthday. So I wanted to have it ready for that. So it's all done, and we've done some small video clips and so forth. We were going to have a big show at Mimo, which was on the 3rd of this month, but we had to postpone that. So that's been put back until March 20th of next year, because we really have to fill the venue to make it worthwhile for everyone, to pay everyone, and to, you know, got to get 200 people in there to make it worthwhile. We can't do it unless we do that. So apart from this, apart from your interview and a few other interviews and doing some more stuff like this, you know, I'm happy to, there's some, I can't get it out on certain things because it's a total cover album. APRA won't release things unless it's original. A lot of the stuff, they've got their own little circle of, I can't remember what it's called now, but they usually send it out to radio stations and stuff, but they won't because it's all covers, you know. But yeah, apart from that, I don't have anything till next year, really. Apart from just doing interviews and doing things and doing little bits and pieces in here of the studio, you know.
Yeah. So
we can do little live. I can do live performances in here, but mostly just with me and the guitarist or something, you know.
So people who want to listen to the album or know more about you, what's the best place they can go to?
They can just to camgiles.com. Yeah, just camgiles.com. It's all there on the website. They can click on that. And if you just click on the thingy, the front page there, it'll just take you straight to the YouTube links.
Yeah.
It's all up on YouTube and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Cam, it's been good to catch up. Thanks for joining us.
Greg, thanks so much.